Hey, what's up guys? It's Mike again from BavhausTV. Today I have in front of me an M52B25TU. This is from an E46 323i. It's a 2.5 liter. I'm just disassembling this motor to store it better, but I just want to take a quick video of how I like to remove cylinder heads from the blocks. Everything else regarding how to remove all the coolant pipes and intake manifold, vanos, camshafts, everything can be found elsewhere. I'm just shooting a quick video on actually removing these head bolts. Since this is an engine with an aluminum block, it is really common for these head bolts to pull up the threads from the aluminum block. It's a steel bolt that goes into an aluminum block, so steel and aluminum don't get along too well. Especially when it comes to overheating. A lot of these get pulled up. That might not be the case with this engine because this engine wasn't overheated by any means. It does have a high mileage on it, but compression was good, the car ran fine. Again, I'm just taking it apart for storage purposes. So, a few things you're gonna need. I like to re-torque these whenever I remove them, so I break them free, check the torque, and that's gonna tell me if the block has any issues. So I like to have an angling torque wrench. There are other methods, you know, with an old angle gauge, but I have a snap-on torque wrench that angles within the shop here. Second thing is going to be a CTA, or this tool. I have the CTA E12, so this is the correct length to actually properly torque and remove these head bolts. There's a BMW version, CTA just makes the exact same thing. So I went that route. I have a few of these diagrams from doing this previously before. This is just what comes with an L-ring head gasket when you buy a head gasket for an M52, B25TU or B28TU, as well as later on the M54. B30 or B25. They're pretty much the same engine. You can actually interchangeably use the heads on all of the M54 and M52 cars. So along with that, you find this, and this is your torque sequence, basically where you start in the center, 1, 2, and then crisscross out. So I'm just gonna do the opposite of that to remove them. Again, I'm just gonna be breaking them free first, retorquing them. Your torque specs are 40 Newton meters, initial torque, 90 secondary torque, and then 90 third stage torque. And then after that, if everything's fine, we're just gonna remove everything, check the threads, make sure there's no aluminum on them. And if there is, I might follow up with a video on how to time insert the block. I might even just do that anyways while this is on the stand, just for shits and giggles, to get some content done. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Before I do all this, I just realized I did not pull the spark plugs out. Spark plugs like to stick out a little bit. So I'm gonna get them out prior to shooting this. So I'll be back once I have the spark plugs out. Okay, so I got the spark plugs out. Just to make it easier on myself, I'm going to use a big ratchet, and I'm just gonna break them free in that reverse order. So I'm gonna start with this one. Right. Move down here to this one. This one. Here's next. It's on wheels on this stand, so it's kind of cruising around a bit. Bear with me. Alright. Then this one. 10, and that means this one's gonna be 9. 8. This one's gonna be 7. Some of these are coming out way too easy, like that one didn't snap free, unless. Yeah. And then 6. It's this one. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Okay, so now that I got all of them loose, retorque them and check my threads. Also forgot to mention before, there are 2 E8s here. One of them's longer than the other. Actually, I have them right here. So these 2, they sit in the front. These are technically holding, or they are holding the head down. Don't forget about these 2 before you take these out. It's one of those things that can be easily missed. They sit in the corner, right in front. Okay, so now I'm going to be torquing them to 40 Newton meters, and I'm going to do them in the reverse order, which is actually the correct order. So let me go grab the torque wrench and I'll be right back. All right, so I have my torque wrench set to 40 Newton meters, and I'm going to torque all of my head bolts to 40 Newton meters. I have the electric torque wrench, so it makes my life really easy. So 1, 2, there goes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 down here, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so at this point, they're all torqued to 40 Newton meters, and I'm going to change it to angling, and I'll let it 0. And then we're going to change it to 90 degrees. This will be our secondary torque. And we're gonna go right over it the same way we just did. If you see me look back all the time, I'm looking at that piece of paper, I'm showing you guys. I'm gonna put it in a better area. Okay, so. This one sweeps, so I don't have to do all that torquing in one sweep. Makes my life a lot easier. So that's 90. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8 is going to be actually under this piece of paper. And 9. This one's moving way too easy. Yeah, that one's stripped. So that was the one that I noticed an issue with at first. So we're gonna keep going though. But I can already tell you that that thread is pulled. So 90, what number was I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So number 10 is gonna be down here. And actually, it really should be this way to show the numbers that I'm actually doing them in the order I'm doing them. Which would make 11 this one. Oh, nope. Oops. We'll finish that one. I screwed that up though. So this one was supposed to be 11, and that was 13, but that's all right. It's just the initial. Also, I'm not putting this back in the car, or I'd be way more anal about it being 90. Sometimes I'm getting 91 pounds, 92. It's not the craziest thing in the world, but definitely be more anal if this is going back on the car. It's actually a good thing that that thread is pulled, because I can actually do a time served video. I guess I could have done it regardless, but better to have a reason to, right? Okay, so now we're gonna start over and do our secondary torques again. So start in the middle at number 1. Right here, I'll be a little bit more particular about my 90s. 2. 3. And that one broke way before 90. So we have an issue on that one now too. 4. 5. Sorry about that. I had to walk away for a second. So I actually did end up torquing number 4. So then we're going to do number 5. Actually, turn the torque wrench back on. And let the angle adjust again. Okay. So I walked away long enough that my feeling for it's completely gone. All right. Number 6 up here. Yeah, it feels like way more now than it was earlier. All right. Number 7. 7 we know is bad. Yeah, nothing there. Never gonna get anything out of that. Whatever. 8. 9. 'Don't really be jerky with it. Definitely want to be as smooth with it as possible. 10. Alright. 11's down here. $12. $13 over here. And 14. Okay, so now we know which of these are bad. What I'm gonna do is go back and break them all loose again. And now we're gonna fully remove them all in reverse order. So I'm gonna set this up like here, and I'll get back to you in 1 second. Okay, so it actually ended up being a day. I got a haircut and I ran out of my old gloves, so that's why everything might look different. So, whatever. Okay, so I believe where I was removing the head bolts now. So, I'm just gonna loosen them up in reverse order. Sorry, it's such a small job, but I'm just all over the place doing other stuff, so. Let's see if I even get this head off today. I'm joking, it's literally just 14 bolts. We're gonna get this done right now. Okay, this is 10. 9 is under that paper that we're looking at over here. Eight's across from 9. Whew. Freaking workout even with this big bar. Alright, 7 is across from 10. 7 is our known bad one, so whatever. And it goes 6. 5. 4. 3. 'Something felt weird about 3. 2. Yeah, so wasn't it, I think it was 3 and 7 are bad, if I recall correctly. Like I said, it's been a day. I already did a bunch of other stuff, so my mind's really not here with this. Okay, and now that it's all broken loose, I don't mind just using an impact gun and just kind of zipping these out. There is no more pressure on the head. You can, turn these all by hand now. So I'm gonna grab a gun quick and just expedite this process. Oh, actually, before I do that, I want to show you something. So I don't know how well this is gonna be able to be seen. So let me go like this so I can actually peep it from behind. Okay, so this is my head bolt, right? So if you, oh, I broke it, damn it. So this is what the head bolt is gonna look like on this car. On an M52, B25TU, B28TU, M54, B30, M54, B25. So this is actually, well, this was just one piece, but this is actually the thread from inside of an M54. So looks like a spring, but that's actually a pulled thread from another cylinder head job I did. So if you saw, this is what gets pulled. The thread actually stays with the head bolt and pulls out of the block. So that's why we end up doing stuff like time serting, which is basically just like a better version of a helicoil, where you make the hole larger, you tap it to a larger size, and then you insert a thread that ends up being the correct pitch of this original thread. So you use the original head bolts. It's a pretty cool solution. I've done it before and it works really well. So that's pretty much what's going on when you have like the spinning ones, like, what did I say, 3 and 7. So just thought I'd show you guys that. Okay, let me grab a gun quick. I'm just gonna go kind of crisscross. Not in the same particular order, doesn't really matter anymore. So just never do the same one twice. You can actually hear the head kind of cracking loose, which is interesting. I don't know if I've ever paid attention enough or have heard that. All right, so you're gonna start taking your head bolts out, and be careful of the washers like that one. There's gonna be a washer for every head bolt. You do replace the head bolts, you do not replace the washers. So make sure you have all these. If you're doing this with the camshaft still in, throw a magnet down and you'll be able to pick them up that way. They're kind of just a pain in the ass in general, so I'm probably gonna end up using a magnet just to get them all out regardless. So I'm gonna make a separate pile for these. I got my hydraulic lifters in the box back here, so that's probably where I'm gonna be shoving those. I think that's all I'm doing. So this is the one that was cracking. It didn't actually pull the thread up, but I'm not entirely confident it's gonna be in any kind of good shape once I get down there. Well, actually I know it's not gonna be good because I couldn't torque it. So it's spun the thread. All right. They actually smell. Like the odor of these head bolts is pretty significant. Like just pulling them out, the smell around them changed, or around this engine just completely changed. Cool, so none of them actually came up with threads, but again, that doesn't really mean anything because we know that they are toast. Okay, and then before I go pulling the cylinder head off, first of all, I have to make a space to put it down because you don't really want to be putting a head down on, uneven surfaces or, surfaces with contamination or something on them. So probably on a piece of cardboard, and you don't want to drag a head around. You want to just put it flat down and leave it alone until you're ready to do something with it. That's probably gonna go to a machine shop, so whatever, but still. It's not an excuse to just treat things poorly. Okay, so I got them all out. I'm gonna grab a piece of cardboard and I'm gonna actually put it on the table here. All right, I'm just gonna lift it up on both sides to make sure it's entirely free, and it is. There's two dowels on either end that are actually holding the cylinder head on, so it doesn't, you can't like slide it into place. It's got to come straight up about a quarter to a half an inch, somewhere in between there, and then you can kind of pull it off. That should do. So I'm gonna grab it. I like to put my arm underneath the studs in the front and then lift it straight up, just like that. I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna put it down on the side, like underneath. And at first glance, there's not any like burnt up valves or you know, any cracking or anything. So this head should be good and reusable. Still would always machine a head before reusing it. You check for piston walk by shaking the pistons back and forth, and they actually seem really nice and tight, so that's a good sign as well for the block. And yeah, and I can see pieces of the thread in this head bolt and this one as well. So the block will have to be time certed. Like I said, I don't really have a use for it, but we'll do it for the sake of the video. Just to get some more content. This is the head gasket. Kind of want to lift it up and over. If you see the oil in here, that's just because the valve cover gasket was leaking. Then it leaked into the spark plug wells, and I pulled the spark plugs before doing the head right there. So they might poke out a little bit. So that's our head gasket. And usually where they'll leak, since these are Siamese cylinders, meaning that it's cylinder on cylinder, there isn't coolant jackets in between cylinders, you'll have some leakage between here, but this one actually looks like it really wasn't having any problems. It's just a high mileage motor, but that doesn't mean that it was necessarily bad. I can tell just by the lack of movement in these pistons that this thing probably had little to no compression issues. And if it did, it was probably all in the gasket, just from the gasket being old. You can see it's all corroded and stuff. So, just replacing the gasket might have done a lot for this motor. Here's your chain, your guides. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. I'm probably gonna end up, stripping this motor down entirely, and then when I still have the block set up on here, like how I do now, I'll probably do a video on how to do the time certs. I know some people have videos on how to do time certs, but none of them are really set up on a stand like this, where it's nice and easy for me to show you guys. So yeah, until I get back onto it, I don't know when that will be, but probably sometime soon. I kind of need this engine stand for other purposes, so I'll try to get that done as soon as possible. So just keep checking up, and hopefully I'll have a video for this soon. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope that helps with whatever you guys might be doing.